a post as well. I don't know so much for that.
Hello, everybody! It is Those Aren't Biscuits, your weekly live Monday evening or afternoon, depending on where you live, internet talk show. I am one of your hosts, the wonderful Owen Adams, and I'm being joined by the equally wonderful Jonathan Cadotte. How are you today, Jonathan Cadotte?
I'm doing lovely.
I'm glad to hear it.
Isn't he lovely?
If you are new here, this it used to be a podcast. These days we prefer sort of a live internet talk show. That's what we're going with, right? That seems to be what we've fallen into with it. We talk about stuff.
I'm digging it.
And lately we've been playing games while we talk about stuff because that is a different thing to do. It gives us something in the background while we talk.
Yeah.
That'll do.
Yeah, and it's great for people to see our expert play in all the games that we do.
Right. And also, sometimes it's better when it's not the snooker, and then we're not too busy going, oh shit, every time. No!
Son of a bitch.
Now, I've given this a brief play, but I've actually never played this game before, so before we get too much into the show, why don't you talk us through this? I think you know a little bit more about this than I do.
Right, so this is a remake of a classic game, Gauntlet. We're playing Gauntlet, and I guess it doesn't say here on the screen right now. We're playing Gauntlet, which is a remake of a game that has been remade multiple times already. It originally started out as an Atari game? So, maybe not Atari. It's it comes from that era of gaming, though. And, I believe there's a iteration on the NES. I think the most famous remake, though, was one that ended up in the arcades a lot. Where there are like 4 sticks, and everyone could pick a character. And
right, they always have those.
It was
sort
a
of curved
eater
fronts.
for sure.
I always liked the 4-player co-op arcade cabinets. They were nice. There was a nice look to them, I think.
So this is very much in the same vein as that, but they added procedurally generated levels to it. So
which is a good
it's a dungeon crawler. Yeah, dungeon crawler. There's some obstacles that weren't in the original games, and they've added a little things like some equipment stuff and things like that.
All right, should we get into this?
Yeah, I'm just making a post right now for the Facebook page.
I will unready myself then. So with that in mind, how are you, Jonathan? What's going on? What's going on with you, buddy? We're all worried about you. What's going on with you, man?
Oh, man. It's hard to say, really, but the alcohol helps.
Turns out the drugs do work.
We are the drugs.
We are the drugs.
Yeah, the lesser known benefit song.
Do you think all of them went through like iterations like that? Screw the world, make it a better place.
Burn it in ember, burn it with nuclear fire.
Fossil fuels. Okay, I want that. I want
Doing pretty good.
The ultra conservative, politically Michael Jackson album.
It does matter if you're black or white. I'm starting with the liberal in the mirror. I'm asking him to make a change. No,
I've run out of Michael Jackson
good.
song jokes already. That's not good. I kept trying to get one back. I was working for something with "Beat It," but the closest I got was "Don't Beat It." It was for the
abstinence only.
Right.
But no, I think that probably would just be then just beat it, as an alternative to premarital sex and the holy institution thereof.
Okay, it says walking in a nuclear wasteland. It's a good one.
Yep. I did not know this, but apparently Walking in Winter Wonderland was actually an anti-McCarthyism song.
Makes sense.
There's little bits in that song that are supposed to be
we don't need any clarification, John. It makes perfect sense to me. Isn't it obvious? How?
Yeah, I don't...
All around,
I just heard...
commies dropping, gonna blacklist them from the Hollywood media machine.
It's a beautiful sight, we're American tonight.
Walking in McCarthy's Wonderland.
Okay, let me Google this real quick. Winter Wonderland.
It's fine, we're just on a menu screen, we don't have to rush to play the game. The game's just a backdrop. Feel free to send us your questions, guys, and we will get to them as and when we can. We'll do them in sessions. My character looks vaguely like Conan the Barbarian.
I think that's the idea. I think that's probably the...
Yeah.
I think that was probably intended.
Would you remember that game Barbarian that came out in the 80s, and on the cover art, the poster ad they released for it, it was a Conan-style guy stood next to a naked princess, basically. And that proved very controversial, and the magazines wouldn't carry the ad. So they really, really hastily, like, drew on a dress.
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking. Yeah.
It's a really famously bad ad. Conan...
Okay, well, maybe I can't really find anything on that right now, but I swear I've heard that somewhere. That it was a sort of protest song.
That makes sense.
I'll look for more information and I'll be prepared next week.
Yeah. Conan's one of those things.
Yeah.
I'll kick the game in, and then I'll say what I'm gonna say.
I'm ready.
Conan's one of those things they keep trying to make work, isn't it? Like, there was a good Arnold movie, yeah. But, like, even the Arnold movie didn't bring Conan back in the big way they were hoping for, you know?
Right.
Like...
we're playing.
Like, do you remember the cartoon that was on when we were a kid?
Yes, I actually had toys from that. And they were ridiculous.
Like, good?
What's going on?
I don't know. I see a thing. Oh,
wait.
There we go. We're good at this. Interact.
Oh, there we go.
We picked a game with dialogue for our podcast, John.
Barely. He's going blah blah blah. You're trapped here. Blah blah blah.
Blah blah. I'd like it if that's what he was doing.
Transparent spirit man. I will bring back the shards.
So, one of the things I always like about that cartoon is like, in the 90s, and I think kids who were not around for the 90s, they won't understand what this was like, but it didn't matter how inappropriate a franchise was for children, it would get a prime Saturday morning cartoon.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
And they would all, like, the vast majority would last one season, and you'd only see, like, 6 of the episodes, and they'd be aired in a stupid order, and they'd probably be part of some other magazine format show, so you'd never see the beginning or end credits, you know?
Right.
You're gonna...
Okay. So, I'm ready to go. Sorry, I'm just trying to get everything loaded up here. And, okay. I'm good on my end.
Good.
Let's do this.
I'm glad to hear it.
Yeah.
And Conan was one of those where they were like, well, we can't have a character called Conan the Barbarian in a children's show. So they called him Conan the Adventurer? Like, oh, that's why he's naked and has a skeleton of bones. He's going on an adventure. Sorry, necklace of bones. Everyone's got a skeleton of bones. That's pretty standard.
Okay, let's work out the controls here.
Well, Oh, I see. I was playing as a wizard earlier, and he had like a ranged attack, but it doesn't seem to be as good as the just the slashing.
Oh, I have a. Apparently, I have a. Yeah.
I've got this. Whee! Oh, that's not what I had earlier. I had a little spin attack earlier. Oh, there we go. Whee! And then I've got this. I can use my. I can control it like a twin stick shooter to get like a dash, which is good.
And I have a shield that I can use. Cool.
I should say, by the way, because I'm playing with the overlay on a 720p TV, if there's anything that requires fine detailings, you're gonna have to do it.
Fair enough.
Okay, so in the chat says, all those life lessons Ren and Stimpy told us. Yeah, happy, happy, joy, joy!
I love the full version of that song.
Yeah. Happy,
It's
happy,
like,
joy,
this song's about a whale. No! This song's about being happy. It is the one thing from Ren and Stimpy I actually really enjoy. I did not care for that show as a kid.
I was never a huge Ren and Stimpy fan. I've actually been known to really, really upset John K fans by saying that I actually preferred it after he left, like the later years.
Right.
No, I think Rocko's Modern Life was a better show from that era.
Hey, are you gonna check out the new version?
I am. I really enjoyed Rocko's Modern Life. Have you ever seen, like, the bit that I always really love, and it comes up so much these days, but it on lists of, like, jokes you didn't get as a kid, but that one where he's desperate for a job, so he goes to work at that phone line, and it just cuts from going, oh baby, oh baby.
Okay, so I got a key. I'm about to open up these walls here, I think. And... oh god.
But like I didn't have cable as a kid, or Sky, which is like our satellite service. I was not up on Cartoon Network shows and Nickelodeon ones until they came to terrestrial for a long time, you know?
Right.
So I honestly, like, Ren and Stimpy did get terrestrial airtime over here, but not, it was still one of those things where most people who saw it and were into it had Nickelodeon. Like, the actual Nickelodeon channel. Or Cartoon Network for, like, Cow and Chicken and things. So honestly, like, people these days, they talk about those shows like they were these big cultural touchstones in this country as well. And a lot of them really weren't, you know? In Britain, I think.
Okay, I have to say something about the food, I remember. Is, it doesn't matter if you have full health or not, you can still eat it.
Okay.
So,
How do
basically,
you eat it?
like, you just run into it.
Oh, good. Good to know.
So basically, like, yeah, if you have...
Should we go this way? How do you dash? Mine doesn't seem to be working.
Circle.
Okay, no, not for me. That's...
I think it's probably an ability. So basically, if you have full health, and I need it, you can kind of fuck me over.
Right, okay. I will try not to do that, but like I say, fine detail. Oh, nice.
So as I am, common for me, I had an issue the other day at a fast food restaurant.
At this point, right, when these happen, you go, yes! Because you know you've got material
Later.
for the show.
It's like, I'm usually like, oh, for fuck's sakes in the moment. But then later on, I'm like, hey. Alright.
So, which fast food restaurant was it, first of all? Name and shame.
This was
Name
Burger
and
King.
shame. Oh, well, to be fair, like, does it really count as a mistake when it's Burger King? Or just, like, part of the service?
So,
do you remember when Burger King's logo was, you got it, and you could, whatever you went in and asked for, they would give you it? You remember that?
I remember it was like, have it your way.
Right, they did that for a while, but they also had, like, a lot of people don't remember, like, in this country, they used to have a slogan that was, there ain't no burger like a Burger King burger, you got it. And whatever you wanted, they had to say, you got it, right? Because whatever you asked for, they were supposed to do whatever you wanted, but basically, you know what I mean?
Oh, you had a key.
And, yeah, I had a key. And whatever you'd ask for, the response would be, they had to say, "You got it." They couldn't say, "Yes, you can have a burger." The staff were trained to say, "You got it," right? And I'd tell you, it became more bitterly ironic the 35th time you went in there to find 5 minutes out of the store you didn't fucking got it at all. Like,
you just imagine someone like in their car going, "I don't got it."
yeah. Pretty much.
Okay, you need the food.
Oh.
Or you can destroy it.
Ah, yes!
You dumb bastard.
Fuck you, chicken!
Owen has performed a deed most foul.
I have defeated our toughest opponent yet. Carbohydrates.
Tryptophan. Be gone. Oh god, that's gonna explode.
Oh, I can't see anything close enough for this. Dear me, this game's very fiddly.
I'm gonna die. Yeah, I died.
We both died, don't worry.
Do we have lives?
I don't know. How do I get... Can I spawn back in?
Just X?
No.
Ow. Square? Hit all the buttons.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Oh. You suck then.
Well, that's weird. Good.
Oh, and look. All this chicken. All for me.
It's about that podcast.
So... I go to Burger King. I'm sure we can get you back somehow.
Yeah, pretty much.
So I'm at Burger King.
Oh, can you revive me, baby?
I did run over your body and I didn't see anything.
You can spawn back in at any time, unless your co-op partner runs over your body, and then...
So I'm sitting there, and the person in front of me makes their order. I was like, okay. And so I'm like, okay, I'm next. So I step up, ready to go. And all of a sudden, the person starts to
keep me in the fight.
starts to have a conversation with the lady behind him, like working in the fries. And I was sitting there just like, I'm right here. I'm literally right here. You watched me walk up, ready to put my order in. And he just turns around and he's like, oh my god, you will not believe what Shanna did the other day. Like, she was supposed to work for me, and she never showed up. And I'm like, sitting there, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, is this happening?
I'm totally down. I'm still not back in the game, which is hilarious, but yeah.
And I'm sitting there, like, okay, well, they had a little exchange. Maybe now he'll take my order, right? Surely he has to take my order next. But no, then she goes, oh, that's such like Shanna. Like, she did the same thing to me, too. And I'm like, you know what? I'm actually starting to root for Shanna in this situation, because you guys fucking suck.
Like, you turn around at one point and be like, Shanna can take your order when she gets here.
Oh my god.
Oh, there we go. Finally, I've got a revive. I wonder if each player has, like, a different timed revive, based on how they die.
I don't know.
I will attempt not to die.
Right away, then.
I wouldn't. Dear me.
So I'm like, what the hell do I do in this situation? Clearly, they have no intent of taking my order here, right? And so finally, I'm just like, you know what? Screw it. And as loudly as I could, I'm like, I want number 12 and a small plain cheeseburger with a Sprite. And the kid looks at me and scoffs. He fucking scoffed at me. He goes, ugh. I'm like, alright, dude, here's the thing. You are a teenager working at Burger King. There isn't a whole lot of expectations for you, you know? Like no one expects you to be like the greatest employee known to man or anything like that.
The world's finest burger chef.
Right, you know, like my expectations for you are as low as they possibly can. Right, eat the chicken.
I did indeed eat the chicken.
Don't hit it with an axe.
Hey, I could have eaten those bits, but the game wouldn't let me. I'm not too good to eat tiny pieces.
Oh wow, that really hurt.
Run away. Blage in the chat says, for you guys, you need skull coins to revive. That meter in the top corner says, if it says 0, no one can revive. It fills by killing enemies. Right, that makes sense.
Fair enough. Oh, we got another key.
I wish I knew how to dash. Okay.
Oh, killed another turkey. Way to go.
I'm sorry. Did I?
Yes, because the narrator goes, another innocent bystander turkey has perished.
That's alright. Let's get all this other food. To be fair, I think I dashed into that one trying to get past the
Having a good
goods.
time up there?
I'm staying alive. You know how long I went down last time.
But yeah, it's like the very least I expect out of get out of there. The very least I expect out of my teenage employees
Is it they at least pretend to take your order?
You just take the damn order. Like push the buttons and you can go right back to fucking gossiping about Shanna. Alright? Like who sounds like a real, you know, a real bitch, but like that's, you know. Oh, I'm dead.
Skull coin, you should be able to revive soon.
Yep. I'm back.
Run away! Sorry, I'm just being brave here. Oh, I'm gonna drop my grenade.
Yes, the brave barbarian.
Hey, I'm not good at this. Oh, I'm down.
Oh shit. Oh, you're back.
Trying to get the hang of using the dodge a little bit more often. Problem is everything's so teeny tiny on my screen. Hey! Could have gone worse. So what, I mean, are you known about town now basically as a guy who should be messed with when they enter a fast food restaurant? I think they've heard the show.
Right? They all just got together like, this son of a bitch. But, yeah, I don't know what it is about me. Like, I can't imagine this is, like, wholly unique to me, that everyone else just has the same terrible experiences, just don't think about it as much as I do.
You think it's a perspective issue?
Yeah, I think it's just a case of people are like, oh, well, that's fast food for you. Where I'm like, no, god damn it. Like, so, other than that, I played a couple games this week.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I think I know all about what you played.
Well, then why don't you tell them what my thoughts are?
You played Babies on the DS, right? The game where you look after babies.
And Barbie's Jungle Adventure, and
I wish Bobby's Jungle Adventure was a real game.
I'm pretty sure it is. I think I have heard of this before.
It has been by now. Yay! Right. Flaw cleared. Could just try to mop, man. You know, like, let's give it a spruce. Well, you significantly beat me.
Greatest hero.
Hey, that went well. So what were you playing, John?
I played. Well, first off, I was still playing Pyre from last week. As a lot of you may know already, I have been doing a series of Let's Plays in these.
For people who don't know this is the game about the guy that makes pies, as we established.
Right. It's the.
I don't know why I find that joke funny, but I really
God,
do.
That's death.
Oh, good. I would run if I were you. You cannot defeat death incarnate. Fair enough.
So whenever death shows up, we gotta get out of here. Cool. Oh God, there he is.
Can't defeat him, but you can't just run away from him, which is okay.
Yeah, apparently. Oh, okay, he's gone. Don't worry, I'll hold back the hordes. Ow!
What were we saying?
Get out of there, man! So yeah, I've been playing Pyre, which, there's health all around you, man.
Hey, I choose not to devour! I'm doing the Atkins
Pyre
diet,
is a game
leave me
by
alone.
Supergiants, Supergiant game, where, you basically, you partake in these things called rites, and it's a good game. I kind of explained it all, last week. But, I played a little bit more of it, and I actually finished it. And they kind of bust out a new mechanic on you that, maybe not like a mechanic per se, but they definitely throw you for a loop at a certain point. As it so happens, like, they explain that you're on this path to, achieve freedom, essentially, from your predicament. You're taking parts in these rites to achieve freedom.
Right, it's like a graphic novel you were saying last week. Just people know.
Yeah, it's...
People who didn't hear that episode, just they know what kind of game it is.
Right, it's like a visual novel mixed with this kind of sports-like gameplay. And, but then they pull something on you. You get to the end of your trials, and they're like, okay, here it is, your moment of freedom. You bastard! That poor turkey did nothing to you.
In my defense, it wasn't intentional to attack the turkey. They were doing the spin attack, and I got a bit too close to it.
So they pulled the thing and was like, oh yeah, you've earned your freedom for one of you. It's like, oh, and they basically,
you can't cancel a dash once you've started it. I had to turn the analog thing, and I didn't. I'm down.
What they
I'm back.
basically explained to you is the rights are, why do you keep going right towards death?
I was very briefly looking at the wrong character.
And so, yeah, you get to this point where, like, okay, well, you have to perform this last rite, and, oh my god. And then one gets to leave. And it's like, oh my god. Like, because you've heard all these people's, like, stories, and why they've been banished, and all these sort of things, and you get a real emotional, like, connection with them. And then you have to send one away. And not only that, they really screw with you because they, at a certain point, they establish this, where do you want me to go? They establish a thing that there's this plan afoot that basically the place where you've all been banished from and exiled from is corrupt. They basically say, like, they're exiling people for terrible reasons. Literacy has been banned. and it's just a horrible place. It's this basically giant anti-intellectualism haven,
Right.
and they want it put to an end. So the idea now is those you free within the rights will go back to the homeland and help stoke a revolution. So you get this thing where you have people who are, and essentially you have to kind of decide who gets to go free, and are they going to help with the revolution or not. And then once they go free, you don't get to use them again because you have to go through this whole process again and again.
So once you've actually earned the right to free one person,
They're gone.
It doesn't just end there, though. You can free everybody,
No.
but you...
And that's the thing. That's where things get real messed up with the game. So they basically go, okay, well, you freed that person this time. The rights are going to start again, and we'll go through the whole process. And so they're like, okay, well, so one by one, I'm going to free everyone and be done with it. Fair enough. And then they hit you again over the head, where it's like, oh, something has gone wrong, and the stars in the sky are going out. And if the stars in the sky go out, the rights cannot exist because they're like ordained by the stars. It's it's that kind of weird super giant mythology style where they don't exactly explain everything to you, just what you need to know in that moment. So yeah, the stars are going out. Oh shit, I'm dead.
You should be able to revive in a second.
Yep. The rights are gonna come to an end, so you actually only have a handful of opportunities to get as many people to freedom as possible, who are in turn supposed to try to help stoke this revolution once it's all said and done. So you have like this trio of motivations going on. Like, one is personal motivations, because you start to learn all these characters stories, what they did to get sent into exile, and a lot of them is not necessarily bad things, I mean, some of them were oh yeah, this person stole and this person got into a fight when they shouldn't have. But other stuff is oh, this person had a printing press, and since literacy is banned in the Commonwealth, that's the name of the country you've all been banished from, is called the Commonwealth.
Right.
Since greediest hero, but since literacy's been banned, okay, clearly having a printing press would send you away.
That's like being a drug dealer.
Yeah, but then okay, now I also have to try to kick off this revolution, and they kind of insinuate that your highest level characters at the time will do the most benefit to for the revolution.
Right, so if you send them away, in the long run they might be helping the most, but you're losing the most valuable members of your team.
Right, exactly.
We have a choice of level direction, by the way. Do you want to do the side level?
Let's just stay on the main path. These side ones, I think, are actually just challenges.
Fair enough, I can do that.
And oh man, it's just, the game just gets so heartbreaking along the way too, because they make it very abundantly clear at a certain point you are not going to be able to get everyone home. There's not enough opportunities to get everyone home. You're going to have to leave someone behind. And then they throw a bunch of other little twists at you that are kind of very story based, that don't have much in terms of gameplay effect. But The other kind of really neat thing that the game does, and I didn't realize this at the time, was the game is persistent no matter what. You can lose some of these rights, and the game will just carry on.
Right.
Because the rights aren't like death. And so much so, and I definitely didn't expect this. But I discovered it on accident, of course. But I lost one of the liberation rights, the ones that send people home. I lost one, and so I didn't get to send that person home.
And you didn't know? Or you didn't know that it could happen?
Oh, I knew. They explained to you afterwards, like, well, they just don't get to go home this time around. And so by the end of the game, I was one short of the maximum amount of people that I could send home.
Oh, I bet that felt bad.
Oh, yeah. And even so much that it actually affects a little bit of the ending. Because they kind of do this whole...
Don't destroy food.
Dude! Have you eaten a chicken yet, or have you just destroyed them all?
Pretty much just destroyed them all.
So yeah, it's like it gets to a point where the game starts to have a very heavy, like, telltale feel to it, where you start to realize that some of these conversations you've been having with people and the people that you've been like kind of siding with on things, like real minor things, like, oh, this person thinks we should stop here, this person wants to stop here. These start to actually matter because the more you, like, side with one of those characters, the more opportunities you have to have conversations with them and learn more about their story and their
I love how more games are adopting the kind of telltale mechanics in more sort of weaving ways than just very direct moral choices.
Right. And then, like, they do this thing where you can essentially send people home and give them back their freedom before you've learned anything about them. So you have this sort of, like, situation at hand where you can be, like, kind of, like, selfish. And, like, I want to know more about this person's, like, life and their story, so I'm choosing not to send them home today. I'm going to pick someone else. You know? And, like, every opportunity, like, the game kind of makes you feel bad about doing this stuff. So it's just been really, it was definitely an experience that I'm really happy that I played it, and it's because I did not get in. Oh my God, Owen.
I'm using my spin attack too hastily. I'm sorry.
I am never ever inviting you to Thanksgiving dinner. Just, hello everyone, this is my friend Owen.
Mrs. Cadotte, it's lovely to meet you.
Well, looks like we're getting Chinese for Thanksgiving.
No, I like games where long choices build up. I've said... Oh, I'm sorry, I smashed one again. I've said before that one of the things I actually like about The Witcher...
You're not sorry at all.
One of the things I really like about The Witcher is the way it actually... It has a structure like Skyrim on the surface, but actually in terms of narrative, it's much more like a Telltale game. And I had a moment recently where... I'm playing The Witcher at the moment, minor spoilers here, but there was a section where a character I'd recruited to help had been sent ahead to the castle where the Witcher Order is based, right?
Right.
She'd gone to do a job, and when I'd got there, I'd found that everyone was unhappy with her based on how she was going about it. She was coming to do the job, but she wasn't being very polite to the people that were there, you know? And I had a choice to have a conversation with a guy, and he asked me how I felt about it. And I could choose between she's just doing what she has to do, or like she could be a little bit more considerate, you know?
Right.
Now, the choice I made in that conversation, later on, it never gave me a choice again, but it shaped how I treated her when I saw her later on in the game. So it didn't affect what I said directly, but my answer then affected how I treated her later. And I thought that was, a nice little sort of distance from a nice little switch on the usual format, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm quite liking. I think, I know we had this conversation about whether you'd like The Witcher before. I think you'd like that aspect of it a lot.
Absolutely.
A lot of the quests have these moral choices that you might not find out until the end of the game what a decision you made right at the beginning, what the ultimate consequences of that were. And that's pretty fun.
Yeah.
It also has one of those things
okay,
that
I'm just gonna pepper this guy from here.
Good plan. It also has one of my favorite mechanics in games, even though it's been way overdone since Mass Effect 2, which is the do loyalty missions and assemble a team thing for the big final confrontation. I love games that let you do that.
Yeah. You know, yeah, I really enjoy that too. Because they always, the game developers always kind of give you that moment too, where it's like, you have that, you know, that bit of respite right before the big showdown. And those are always some of my favorite, like, moments in games.
I will say, it does do one of my more niggly things, though, which it is one of those open world games where it goes, come on now, you've got to save the world! And then it goes, you have the choice between, I'm ready to go, or there's something I've got to do first. And then you're like, alright, I'm gonna go find this book for this man who has a bookshop.
I need more Gwent cards.
Right. I've almost completed my deck. The best take I ever saw on that was, did you ever play Dead Rising 2?
No. I never played any of the Dead Rising games.
In Dead Rising, it's an open world zombie survival game. You know what they are. But one of the mechanics in 2 is your daughter has been bitten by a zombie, and they've invented a medicine called Zombrex. So if you're bitten by a zombie but you haven't turned yet, if you have this medicine called Zombrex every, like, 8 hours, I think, you won't turn, right? So she's been bitten, but as long as you've got Zombrex, she won't turn. So you have to return to her every 8 hours.
Oh, I see what we have to do.
With Zombrex that you find in the mall to stop her from turning. That's one of the mechanics, you know? The best comic I ever saw on this sort of mechanic was, they'd taken the conversation of, like, Daddy, I need more Zombrex. I'm coming, sweetie. And then the next panel was the Dead Rising 2 guy wearing women's clothing, riding a little unicycle, skating through the mall, playing music and wearing hats. And I just thought that was great. Because it's such a serious moment, but they are real playground games, Dead Rising.
Yeah.
Like, I remember Mass Effect 1 coming to the Citadel and being like, we have to convince the council that this is what we need, and it's important and all this. And then just running and spending, like, 3 hours endorsing every store on the Citadel. Like, Shepard, becoming a Spectre is a noble pursuit, dude, with dignity. You're representing Earth now. And then I went and defrauded a ton of salesmen into thinking I'd given them an exclusive endorsement.
Right. Punching reporters, you know.
Right. I like to play Mass Effect as if I'm Lance Armstrong of today. Like, that would be a very different comparison 10 years ago, but...
Right. But yeah, so that was kind of my time with Pyre. Yeah, I got to the ending and it was just
get the food.
Oh, there's one character in particular that I felt, okay, so here are going to be some spoilers for the game, all right? I'm sorry, but like this moment so got to me. There's a character named Tizo, and he's a little imp, and you know he's just kind of this like real helpful guy, you know. And it turns out he's been around for a real long time, and unlike everyone else, he's actually from the place that you've all been banished to. But he's like, I wouldn't mind seeing the Commonwealth eventually, you know? And so I kind of saved him. I got everyone else out that I could.
I need to replenish my strength.
And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to get him out now. You know, it's like the last time. And so I was like, I'm gonna get him out, and we'll do it. And so I got to the point where it's like, okay, he's gonna get out. And this is where the game kind of makes a quick shift, like right at the end, where it's like, no crap, all the stars have gone out. We can't finish. You can come back. We can't send anyone home. And they realized, like, no, we can just send one more, but it's now Tizo's decision who goes. Will he go and be free, or will he send you, your actual player character? And he said, oh, he chose me. He chose to send me home instead. And I was like, no, Tizo, no, you son of a bitch. I was going to get you out of here. I promised. I promised I was going to get you out, man. Like
the ending of Aladdin.
Heartbreaking. Well, like, to make it even more heartbreaking is that he doesn't, like, ever speak, like in English. He speaks in his impish thing, and like, your character just can, like, interpret it. Like, what he means, not his actual words, but just like what he's
the whole time
intending.
he's actually like, no, fuck you, I want to go to the Commonwealth. No, send me. No, what are you doing? Get him off the... No, I'm going. You said I choose. I want to go.
But the problem was, is like, while he's
Good
doing
info.
this, he's just like, he's just like, and he like makes that noise. And then it's like Tizo wishes for you to go home. I'm like, no, 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 God, no. I'll stay. I swear to God, I'll stay.
See, I'm surprised you
And
like
you
this
actually
character. You like this character, right?
Yes.
But it sounds very much like what you've just described is a snarf.
Seems valuable.
All 80s cartoons had the snarf. Sometimes he was a
No,
Slimer. Sometimes he was... What's the one from Transformers? Bumblebee.
I was gonna say Sam.
Sam. Wouldn't
Or
it
a
be great
Spike.
wouldn't it be great if he just went wet wiki all the time?
But then, like, they kind of like really screw with you, because you can choose, like, do you accept Tizo's decision, or do you still send him in your stay? But it's like, he goes like, Tizo is dead set on you going home. So I'm like, I promise to get this guy out of here, but he desperately wants me to go. So
Yeah, he
what
doesn't
do I
like
choose?
you.
Do I?
He's like, go, we're gonna get this guy out of here.
Well, just like, oh, it just ate me up inside, and I'm just like, oh,
Oh, god damn it.
oh shit.
No.
No, you can come back.
I am going to too.
You better start killing things.
I am. Where's the turkey?
Come on, come on. Just a few more.
Few more what, John? What do you say? What do we need some more of?
Fuck you. But yeah, no. If you guys have not played Pyre, please go and do it. Like, it is a really good game. And I'm sure they do just fine in terms of sales. But Supergiant is a studio that I think deserves as much support as they can get, because they just make, so far, 3 for 3, just truly amazing. What am I supposed to do
the
with
keys?
this?
Put
No?
it down on that, I guess.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I've got a key. That was a real waste of a key.
So, but that was that's kind of my my game that I played the most of this last week. I did play another game, which I can go into in a little bit. But what have you been up to, man?
Well, I mean, if you want to keep talking about the game, I don't mind. I don't know, but I suppose my topic is I saw a film, which we discussed this briefly before the show, and you were surprised to discover in this country is a Netflix, straight to Netflix film. I wonder if it was. I wonder if that distribution was arranged before or after the reviews came in. Oh,
I don't know.
Because it did not get good reviews. But I saw a film called The Circle. Should we retry?
Yeah, I guess.
A film called The Circle, starring the old hermit crab himself, Tom Hanks. Bing. Patton Oswalt.
Really?
Yes, Patton Oswalt is in it. Emma Watson. John Boyega, all these people. And it's kind of an unusual film.
Are we right at the beginning again?
I think we're right at the beginning. Yeah, we are. Damn it.
Of the whole game, or just this level?
Just this level.
Oh, okay.
And The Circle is kind of interesting because it's a movie that wants to be... I feel like the inspiration was, we want to make a movie about an evil corporation, but we already have evil. Let's just make a movie about the evil corporations we have already, right? So right. we'll do... The villain is clearly Google, right? That's the idea. It's about a woman played by Emma Watson who gets a job with a tech company. And at first it kind of makes her dreams come true, but then she starts to discover that something more sinister is unfolding. Right?
Okay.
And I will say at the beginning, I am going to discuss this with spoilers. There are hints that this company is trying to mass harvest data for sinister reasons, and that they're unveiling mass spying. The company's led by a charming keynote speaker played by Tom Hanks, who is probably the best thing in the movie. He plays this guy who is genuinely likable, genuinely feels inspirational when he talks about the latest technological advancements, but also is sinister, you know? That was you that time. Hey!
Yeah, I know. I did it on purpose.
So he's good at playing this character who you suspect has sinister motivations, but clearly sincerely believes in this tech, which is he believes in a world where technology brings openness, right?
Right.
And as the film unfolds, this is where the problem starts to come in. The company's not really doing that much bad. The weird thing about this movie is it's about what if Google were evil, kind of. Except they're kind of not. Like, the worst thing... as she gets more and more dragged in... I wish I could... May is the character's name. As she gets more and more dragged into this company, she starts to get more and more into their ideology, which is that people shouldn't have secrets, and that when mass surveillance is everywhere, because they've invented these little cameras that are undetectable, and the pitch they give for these little cameras isn't, haha, we'll rule the world. It's things like, the authorities won't be able to hurt dissidents anymore because we'll always be watching, and things like that. You know, it's couched in a very kind of left-wing political philosophy. But May has a friend who doesn't want any of that, doesn't want any of the social media, isn't interested in a life where you primarily know people online. And he is harmed by her growing connections to this company, and you know, he makes these these chandeliers out of deer antlers.
As you do.
That are all that are all arty, and she posts a picture of them on her social media, and all her new friends start calling him a deer killer. So he suffers from her growing social connectivity. And that's all kind of interesting, but basically the most evil thing the company does And this is the big spoiler. She gets this friend of hers killed, basically, because
Aw.
the company unveils this product and they start demoing it live on air, like on a worldwide presentation. And what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to use a combination of crowdsourcing and facial recognition software to find anybody anywhere in the world and track them down. And the first they use it to track down a fugitive on the run from the law. And they demo this live, and it feels kind of goofy. It doesn't feel very real. One of the things is it's all based on kind of current existing technology, but it feels incredibly far-fetched.
Take it to the extremes.
Right. But it just feels incredibly far-fetched based on the way everybody talks about it, essentially, which is kind of funny. And ultimately, after they found the fugitive, she lets the audience suggest somebody, and they suggest this friend of hers, because at this point she's wearing a camera on all her... And live streaming her entire life to kind of to show her commitment to openness, and they start this search using all the software to live find her friend, but they start coming to his house and chasing him down with cameras and drones and things, and he drives away in a car and just drives off a bridge, basically. And
oh wow,
that is the worst thing this company does in the entire movie. But it's an accident.
Sure.
and like,
I guess the idea is like, it's not so much their deeds, it's the implications. Right,
and the film tries to make those implications feel very weighty. But the problem is, and it's got a real... I can see why it got some strange reviews, because it's got this real mismatch in tone. Like, John Boyega plays basically like Zuckerberg, right? That's his character. He invented like Facebook, essentially. And then he's basically become this recluse who's been integrated into the bigger company, the wider company. But because he started objecting to what they do, he's basically paid to just be a figurehead for the company at this point. At one point, he takes her away to this secret complex underneath the base, and he shows these lines and lines of server racks and says, what they're doing, it's way bigger than this, and you know what I mean? And you think that it's going to be some kind of iRobot shit, do you know what I mean? Like, giant factories of death machines. And it never gets there. Like, the worst thing, the big project is this crowdsource finding people. There's no scheme, right? And then... And then at the end, she's like, all right, this is how I'll bring the company down. You want transparency? So she leaks the executives, all the executives' private details and private phone calls, complete with information that they are dodging their taxes. And that's it. Like, the big revelation that the company's up... Like, the most criminal thing they do is it's implied that when a senator wants to come down on them for anti-competition laws, it's implied that they produce information that gets her impeached, right?
Oh, of course.
And that's quite serious. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, yes.
But the three villainous things the company does in this movie is overwork a friend of May's, launch a scheme to find people that through irresponsibility make someone drive a car off a bridge, but is like, there's blame to go around for that one, and leak revealing information about a politician, right? And I'm not saying none of those things are bad, but the tone is like Minority Report, right? Or Enemy of the State. And you never see them do any evil, really. It's a very strange film. You get the kind of
feeling, though, that this is going to sound kind of bad, and I don't mean to make it more political than maybe it's supposed to be, but I get the feeling that this movie would be much more sinister and scary to people older than us.
Right.
And
it feels
maybe
like
from
that.
Possibly a different political view. Stay alive.
I'm sorry.
Never mind.
I'll tell you what it feels like. Have you ever seen that, you ever seen that Nicolas Cage movie, Knowing, which wants to be a post-apocalyptic sci-fi movie, but is actually like a weird religious movie, so it comes across like someone who's never actually seen a sci-fi film before? You seen that film? Oh,
yes.
All the writing's kind of wrong. This is that, but a tech thriller.
Right.
It feels like someone wrote their first tech thriller having never seen one before, and was like, yeah, I know how to write these. I can do Sinister. Google. That's some scary shit. And it's weird because
yeah, I don't know.
In some places it's actually really good. Like the Tom Hanks character is really great. And the big part of why he's great is he utterly believes that, and you totally believe that he believes. And this might be one of the very few villains Tom Hanks has ever played, because he doesn't like playing villains. Yeah. He totally believes that a world without privacy is ultimately admirable, right? Like there's no drawbacks once you get used to the idea, right? And his idea is that the only reason he really feels like the only reason we need privacy is because we're accustomed to the idea, you know? And that ultimately everyone benefits. There's no benefits to getting rid of secrets. By the end of the film, it is turned out that he does have secrets of his own, but you believe that he just doesn't think of his secrets as being comparable, you know what I mean?
Right.
And there's value in it. Like he's very much the new age hippie executive, you know, he goes surfing. Right. He talks about his disabled son and how his disabled son can't walk, but he experiences all the experiences other people have through these cameras, you know? It connects him to the world, you know? And you believe him. And he's great. And every time they're doing a presentation revealing like some technology that he's pioneering, that's where it hits home, you know? When it's almost like a TED Talk but sinister, it's actually really fantastic. But then everything else about the film is wrong.
It's funny just describing this, and what I... Oh my god, why won't this thing die? No. Hearing you describe this, it kind of sounds like... like I said, perhaps more scary for someone...
Right.
Sorry.
No, it was funny. I thought the dash would carry me across, and it didn't.
Well, now you get a second chance. So close. But it really comes off to me as... I'm kind of curious. Do you know who the director of this was? Perhaps
I don't. I can take a look. Next time I'm dead, maybe. But that would be interesting, yeah.
Because what it really sounds like, it's... I don't mean to really make this the point, but it kind of sounds like it's like a movie that's designed to make like millennials and the things that they cherish.
Yeah. Oh no, it totally is.
Seem like a villain, you know?
Oh, it completely is. It's one of those. It's one of those. These kids and their videoed games, films. You know, like these children and their internet's devices, always on the social networks, letting people steal their. Yeah, no, it's a thriller movie equivalent of those newspaper articles from the magazine sections, aimed at old people who don't really know what a computer is.
Right, because like, especially when you mention like TED Talks, right? Like, because TED Talks have become incredibly popular, especially among young, like 20-something-year-old, you know, college intellectuals. You know, people fucking love those things, and I do too. I really do. I don't have the same adherence to them as some people do.
Well, they're not as good as they used to be as well, to be fair.
Well, because they started pumping them out like crazy.
Right, and now there's TEDx Prague, TEDx Luxembourg, TEDx that guy down the street's house.
Weaklings fall, but Thor stands true.
Oh, god damn it.
Another chance. I won't make the same mistake twice.
Oh my god, this is gonna be tough. I'm gonna
While
try
you're
to bring
playing
it
that,
back,
I'll catch up with the chat a little bit and I'll check on the director of the circle.
Okay.
We really need to take out that summoning stone.
James Ponsolt. I wouldn't be surprised if he hasn't directed... Oh, he directed... He's 38 to 39. Apparently. According to Wikipedia. He's the first person I've ever seen on Wikipedia have a range for an age. I'm guessing that means they know what year he was born in but don't know the date, I guess.
Right.
He directed The End of the Tour, Off the Black, Spectacular Now. I don't know any of these films. You know any of those?
Nope.
But there's a weird kind of uncanny valley effect to the movie, I think, which is that if it had been very similar, but if the threat and the technology had been a little bit more sci-fi, it would have worked. I think. But because the technology is so close to home, you just watch it and go, what? What now? Oh no, they've invented blogs! The bastards! Like there's a moment where May, halfway through the movie, decides that what she's gonna do is she's gonna show her commitment to the company cause by wearing a camera the whole time. That's gonna be her thing. And at one point, she goes on a phone call to her family, and the family has agreed to have cameras put up in their entire house. I don't really know why. And she tunes in time to see her parents, like, having sex, and it accidentally gets streamed to everybody, right? And that
no
happens.
good for anybody.
That's no, it's not good. It's fine, but it's a weird moment in the film because you're like, okay, fair enough. But because the film's supposed to be about like invasion of privacy and a breakdown of privacy laws by tech companies that don't respect us, this is played like it's the most sinister thing that has ever happened. And it's the breaking straw that loses communication with her family. It's a really weird movie.
Oh, you're so close, Owen. Kill stuff. Oh,
It's those stupid ones with the spider sense, though. They don't go down.
I know, you have to kill the other ones.
Oh, okay, I can do that.
Oh, I'm dead. Fuck.
I'm also dead, I'm sorry.
No.
We're not good at
Fuck
this, John.
level. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, I remember seeing it, the trailers for it, and it's like, really? Like,
Also, like, this is such a minor thing, but it was the same with Doctor Strange, right? Why cast one of the most famous British actors in the world and have them play an American?
and make them American.
Right, because everyone knows what their voice sounds like. It just doesn't make sense. And this is not even... I don't even say this as a British person, right? There's no... When you've got someone whose voice is so distinct, as Emma Watson's is, right? Why do this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
What is so fundamental to the character that they must be American in this this film about Google? And I'll just cast someone American.
Right. Yeah, that sort of thing just never made a ton of sense to me.
The weird thing is, right, do you know what the really weirdest thing about it was? Her best friend in this film gets her job, right? And it's implied they've been friends for years, right? And they're close old friends. She's played by Karen Gillan as Scottish. So for some reason, like... For some reason...
That's really funny.
For some reason, Emma Watson has to become American and have been raised in America, but her dear old friend is Scottish, and not even, like, born in Scotland but moved to America when she was, like, a little kid or anything, because later on, when she needs a break from all the thrilling action of the evil tech company, she goes back to Scotland. She goes home to Scotland. It's a really weird choice.
Well, I felt the same way, like, about, well, it's like, the same thing with, like, House. Right? It's like,
Right.
why did Hugh Laurie have to be American for this? Like, we have British doctors who work here in America. Like, they exist.
Yeah. Well, apparently, I don't know. Apparently, it was very important to the guy casting that show that he was American, because I seem to remember Hugh Laurie saying that the audition was like it had to be someone uniquely, specifically American. And I wonder if that's because a lot of people with House have made the Sherlock Holmes comparison. That House is basically Sherlock Holmes. So I wonder if they wanted to avoid making that either too obvious or going down that path with it.
Right.
But at least in America, to be fair, Hugh Laurie's not that well known in America prior to House.
Right.
So at least everyone in America didn't already know his voice. It would be like if they'd done it with Daniel Radcliffe. And they'd cast him as, I don't know, Yosemite Sam.
In Spanish. Just...
But Daniel Radcliffe's not an amazing actor, so he would just have to sound the same.
Right.
See, Professor Dumbledore.
Although I heard he was really good in that one movie, Horns. I heard that was actually really good.
That's because that's not a fictional film. They just follow him around with a camera and he just does that. That just is
He
him.
actually just has horns.
He just has horns. Wouldn't it be great for them? But, like, I don't know anything about that movie, so for all I know, that is just Daniel Radcliffe going about his day-to-day life, but with horns. Because it's just called Horns. It doesn't tell us anything about what it's about.
It's about a guy who has horns.
Oh, I'd watch that. I would watch a film about a guy who just does normal day-to-day stuff but has horns, you know? You just see Daniel Radcliffe, he's just going to the doctors, he's just reading a pamphlet, goes in to see somebody, he's like, I think I might have diabetes. He's just got horns,
Nope,
you know?
just horns.
Just horns. The doctor's like, yeah, you don't have diabetes, you just got horns. Well, I am peeing a lot through the horns. No.
No.
Then I'm not interested. I'm a horn doctor.
I'm also getting, you know, kind of fatigued, and I get tired after I eat a lot. Are your horns tired? I don't know.
Doctor, I think you got a little bit of a one-trick mind about the horns thing. You're a man with horns. What do you expect me to focus on? No, let's talk
rich.
about your pancreas. I'm gonna catch up with the chat in a moment.
I love how he likes to remind me all the time, like, hey, you're about to die. Thanks.
I always think it comes
Thanks,
off more like a
buddy.
veiled threat. Okay, so in the chat, a little bit behind says, that has to be one of the worst movies I ever saw, knowing. Oh, it's so bad. It's one of those has to be seen to be believed bad movies, but it hasn't gone down in history like The Room or anything. Well, it's not The Room bad, but it hasn't gone down like that just because nobody's seen it. Like, it was also a massive flop. It's one of my favorite bad movies, though, because the back of the box was like, Nicolas Cage discovers a secret message sent to the brain of a child that contains a secret code that that has the key to all natural disasters, all major tragedies of the 20th century. And then when you see this code, it's just a list of digits, and then periodically in the digits it just lists the date and how many people died. And I was watching that, and I remember saying at the time, I was watching it with Beth, and I was so excited because the premise sounded so interesting to me. And I was just like, I remember just saying, that's not a code! That's just a list!
No. Yeah.
It's just...
Like, you failed to grasp the concept of what a list is, or what a code is.
Rose Byrne's in that film, and she's terrible. I don't like Rose Byrne. I keep trying to like her and stuff, because she was in the old BBC Casanova series, and that was pretty good. She's terrible.
I can't think of anything else that she's been in.
X-Men First Class. She was, what's her name?
Oh, Moira?
Moira something.
Taggart.
Moira! Yeah. Although in that, apparently an FBI agent. Like, in what sense was she Moira Taggart? Do you know what I mean?
Right. So,
Galactus. Sorry, Gary.
what?
In Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, the cloud that is supposed to be Galactus is called Galactus. So whenever I see a
Right.
character that just isn't the same, but I always just think Galactus. And I'm always like, why bother? You know, just make a new character if you're not even gonna put him in.
No. So, the other game I played this week, and just briefly, so I don't got a ton to talk about
Well,
it.
I'm done about Circle Chat. That's all I have to say. But I would recommend watching it, by the way, if you just
enough.
so you can see what I mean. To be honest.
Please watch this bad movie so you understand why I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Sure, right on that.
Definitely. Well, it's like The Room, you know? You don't regret watching that even though you think you're going to, right?
I do want to see the movie with the Franco brothers, where it's the movie about making The Room.
Yeah, it's looking really good. Well, it's based on the book that Greg Sestero read, isn't it? Did
Yeah.
you... I sent you the trailer, didn't I? I still want to see The Greasy Strangler. I haven't seen it yet, but I think it looks really good.
Yeah. That looks so bad.
It does. Blash has not seen Knowing. Don't watch it. That's not a bad film worth watching. But yeah, the other game you played was what? What? Tell me, John. I want to know what game you played.
Dreadnought.
Dreadnought! I don't know anything about
Which
Dreadnought.
is in open beta right now, so anyone can go on and play it right now, actually, for free. And it's actually, I didn't really know what to expect from it, but I thought, you know what, it's free. Let's give
It's a
it
man
a go,
who's
right?
afraid of the number 0.
No, because that would be N-A-U-G-H-T. This is N-O.
I don't like you. Held up saying it a really
fuck
long
your
time.
stupid jokes, Owen. Yeah. I have but one purpose in my life anymore. It's just to ruin your dumb jokes. But so the game is essentially, the best way to describe it is
The bigger they are,
the
harder they fall.
naval stuff from Assassin's Creed 3 and Black Flag.
I always forget it was in
Except-
3 as well, wasn't it? Because in 3 it was
Yeah.
so optional. I think I made it through the whole game without
Right.
doing it once. And then when I finally did, I was like, what's the point? I don't get it. Because you have to go trade stuff. I really did not like the homestead stuff in 3.
No, me neither. Oh, great.
I much preferred what they had in Brotherhood, and like I liked
Yeah.
buying shops and just getting income.
So, the game is... It's that, except you're a spaceship. Will you just... Oh my god.
I'm back, bitches! Hey! What you doing, John?
I hate you so much.
You have to remember, right? I think you may have forgotten from the
Kill
beginning
one
of the stream.
thing. That's like all you have to do.
But I just have to clarify, you realize I can see so little of it's so tiny for me. Because I've got the whole overlay on, so I'm on a small TV and it's only taking up like 2/3 of the screen as well. On top of that.
Right. So it's essentially that, except you're in space, you're flying a spaceship. So you, well, actually, weirdly enough, all right, you're
God
not
damn it.
in. You're actually not in space. You are during the tutorial, but then when you actually do the battle, you're on a planet.
It'd be great if it was just
But-
London. Just a spaceship. cruising through London. I like that.
That's kind of what it feels like. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, good.
I hate these purple glowy things. Oh, back. Good, good. Right. I'm dying slightly less.
But it's... I actually had a really good time playing the little bit that I did so far. So I want to play it more. But it's really, really fun. Because you first off, you get a real sense that you are piloting these massive, like, space battleships, right? Because you can get, like, 4 different classes. Like, one's, like, a support, and one is kind of a speedier, but does a lot of damage. And then they have, like, the big honking fuckers. And, so, but you get this real sense that you are piloting these things, because they don't turn super quick. They're not like little fighters or anything like that. They're battleships, and you get like an array of weaponry. You know, like you have like torpedoes that you can use, and you have missiles and anti-missile weaponry, and everything's kind of set up on this. Everything is set up on these like timers, these energy timers. So like you can use your anti-missile thing, and it'll knock down all the missiles coming towards you. But after you use it, you have to wait like a minute before you can do it again. So if someone else tries to hit you with a missile barrage, you're gonna take that thing completely. You know? Oh no. Oh god. Well, it's on you, man.
Good, good.
Goodbye.
No!
Oh, Jesus. This level is kicking our ass.
It's not even this level, it's this room.
Right?
Oh, here's one for you, John.
So,
and the question in the chat. Mr. Derpington says, what is your guys' opinion on No Man's Sky? I'll tell you John's opinion on No Man's Sky. He was so hyped for it, it took him 3 weeks to admit he didn't like it.
let me finish up on Dreadnought, and I will go into No Man's Sky for you, Mr. Derpington. So, it's a lot of fun, and the one thing, though, that I thought was really funny about it was, you do this tutorial, right? And it's like, oh, so you want to be a new captain, huh? Well, let's run you through the paces. Here, you can use my ship. And the dude's just like, here's my massive battleship that you can use that probably costs trillions of dollars. And like it's fully armed, and he goes, oh, it's like sentimental value, and there's a fucking statue like fastened to the front of it and crap like that. And it's just like, really? That's it's like, oh, you're a student driver. Here's a 1939 Rolls Royce that my grandfather had, you know, after the war, you know? Use this. And it's just like, I wouldn't give like some, like, I would be like, okay, here is a tugboat to learn how to, you know, like
the space tugboat.
Yeah. But it's just, I thought that was kind of ridiculous. But no, it's a lot of fun, and then like the battles seem real epic, and because like I did like the little training mission, and then I did an actual match with real people, and yeah, it's great because you see these just giant lumbering battleships just floating in space and maneuvering, and it's actually just really kind of nice to watch. And you know, the missiles are coming out in these massive salvos, and lasers are flying through the air to knock them out of the sky, and then like these giant Tesla beams come streaming
I'm
across
interested.
your bow.
This is a PS4 game, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought so. I know you don't do a lot of gaming on PC, so I always forget to ask. I might check it out. It might be fun. Do you think it would be interesting to stream?
It could be. I think it would be. I did kind of suggest that we do it for this today.
Right. But then I figured it might be a little bit too much to learn before we did the show.
Not so much to learn. It was just. It kind of is one of those things where it kind of takes a ton of focus.
Right.
Because you have to be really tactical in it. Because you are. There's no hiding. You know, you can't. You can't really. Like. I don't know. Like the whole the concept of like outmaneuvering them is something like you can kind of do that. Like, and that's where the tactics come in. Is how to get your ship into a better position than your enemies, while also kind of having like this 360-degree, you know, 3D awareness of like where everyone else is. And
see, that sounds interesting, because the one problem with Black Flag for me is I like that game a lot, but I think a lot of the naval encounters can be quite samey.
yeah. Yeah, this is actually pretty cool. I would definitely give it a shot. I mean, I'd be willing to play
I'm sorry.
Play one for you for like.
I had stopped trashing the food, but I did trash the food.
That's fine. I mean, you're the one who needs it, not me.
You're the one that gets angry, John.
There,
You know what you like when you
there's over
drink.
here. There's.
Thank you.
I should have just destroyed it. I was so tempted. But I also desperately want out of this level.
I am getting better. I promise. Not dying quite as often as I was. And we're accumulating more keys as well. More coins.
Yes.
Mr. Dubbington says, dare you guys next time to play Planet Side 2. I don't know if I've played that before. Oh, I am dead.
I have played that. I did not particularly enjoy it. I don't know. It's a cool concept. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a really neat concept. But in practice, it's not all that exciting.
Did you ever play Dust 514? Was that... It was PS3, wasn't it? I think it was an exclusive,
yeah,
actually.
I didn't, but my ex-girlfriend's brother did, and I watched him play it. That seemed dumb, you know.
It was fun, but it was in beta, like, I don't even know if it ever came out of beta, to be perfectly honest. And it only ever had, like, one, because the whole concept of that, the whole selling point was, if you were playing EVE Online, you could finance skirmishes with companies, and it felt more like, it never felt like a whole game in itself. I don't even know if it got finished, you know?
Yeah, I don't know if it ever really got the popularity that they were hoping for.
Right, which is strange, because you think EVE Online players are pretty huge, but they're on PC, you know?
Right, and also, like, EVE Online players, aren't first-person shooter players, generally, you know?
No, I mean, I've played a little bit of EVE. It's one of the most unbelievably slow... I don't mean even that as a criticism. It's a very slow-moving, technical game. It's a totally different game. Do you know, I did not like EVE Online as much as I wanted to.
I knew right from the get-go that was not going to be my game.
I gave it a go.
As soon as I heard, like, this concept, I'm like, nope, this is not happening. Ow!
A huge part of the game, and I think this is a big problem with it, is training your character to use certain skills. You have to pay to train up in points. I do like, though, that there's an item you can buy in-game that's basically a month of free play. So if you pay for a subscription for a little bit, you can eventually stop playing for free if you really focus on earning the right amount of credits to buy the item each month. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I like hearing the stories about EVE.
Right.
Those are by far more fascinating to me than the actual game. But okay, so just real quickly, for Mr. Proddington, or goddamn it, I can't.
Mr. Proddington. I like that.
Sorry, I forgot your name.
They call me Mr. Proddington. Prod.
No Man's Sky. So, I maintain that the game has a certain quality to it. It for a game kind of that lets you contemplate your own existence, and kind of really evaluate your life.
And your spending choices.
It serves a really beautiful purpose. And I don't necessarily mean that in an insulting way. Because I did find myself, while playing it, falling into a very deep meditative state. You know? Like, oh, okay.
That's what we're calling being bored now. No, I know what you mean.
So it does have some of those qualities. Unfortunately, after you get past that, the game is wholly disappointing. It is just one of the most ridiculously disappointing games I have played in a very long time. Oh my god.
It is. I think the summary of No Man's Sky I've decided is the one that sums up how I feel the most. It is the world's most expensive $20 game.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the goal with this room here that we keep on dying, we need to get these things down as fast as possible.
Is this the room?
Yes.
This isn't even the room we keep dying on, you know. No, the one
it's
we
not?
No, the one we keep dying on is the one where you have to move the little pillars from the side.
Oh, right.
No, we're all right at this one. We've never died here, John.
No, we're this one's fine. No, what you should have done is just let me believe that. So like, oh my god, we did it!
I don't even think we're that close to that one. To the one we're stuck on. Thank you. I know. I'm dying. We've got another coin though.
Yeah. Well, let's try not to use that one. I like to have 2 in stock. I
think I've been over-relying on the spin attack a little bit, actually. Makes me a little bit less aware of my surroundings. Problem is, I'm practically indestructible when it's on. I'm down. I'm back. Hey. Keys.
Alright. But yeah, No Man's Sky, I'm assuming it'd come down in price.
It's had a few updates, but I don't know if it's had a lot of updates. Like, one of the things that really bugs me is they've added a load of features to it, and people keep saying, yeah, look, they've added these new features. And when you look at them, I keep going, but they're features that don't fit in the game they made.
Right.
Like, one of the features they've added since then is the ability to build permanent bases on planets.
Right, which is the whole point of the game. No, don't you do it! Oh, you son of a bitch.
Sorry. But once you've left a system on No Man's Sky, you can't even get back to a system you've been to.
Not really, no.
Damn it.
Oh, fuck.
I do feel bad about that.
You should. You absolutely should.
Okay, this is the room. Now, I think that if you activate these things too early, the doors on the side, I have a suspicion that causes the tougher enemies to appear. Okay, so if you get the skeletons further away from the wizards, they're not as tough. Is that right? It seems to be
Yes.
the way that works. I'm down. Sorry, John.
Get back into the fight, Paul.
I like at a certain point she just starts calling him by his name, like, you dumb bastard, get back here.
A Valkyrie's aim is true.
What the hell's this crown?
Seems valuable.
Okay, well, let's do the dolls. Now, I think this is going to send a ton of enemies upon us.
Right.
I wonder what happens if I don't use that key.
You just hang on to it. Or just
Well,
you can
no,
take it with
no.
you.
I know, but just hold on. Just don't do it yet. I'm trying to see if maybe they're triggered by the doors opening. Oh, sorry, I just destroyed a key. Oh, no, I collected it. That's fine. Okay, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Just try something different, John. It's that or do it again for the rest of our lives.
God. Damn it. Oh, okay, I can come back. Stay alive.
Fight with blade and shield.
But no, I mean, we've talked about No Man's Sky a lot. I think my feelings really are that I'm kind of in the crowd of I never really expected it to be all that they were promising, I guess. And that's partly because I didn't see how you could have a universe as big as they were promising it would be.
Oh, you can just leave. You could have just left anytime.
And the end of the level is just there.
God damn it. God damn it.
So annoying. I'm not even happy that we finished. I'm still angry about that. Oh, good. Mr. Debbington says, no, they are still in beta. What, Dust 514? What if that's what he's talking
Seriously?
about? Yeah, PS3
Great.
launch is coming up any day now. The full game was released on May 14th, 2013. The game was officially shut down on May 30th, 2016. So it lasted 3 years.
No. Yeah, well done.
2013, though, like, when did I start playing the beta? Must have been prior to that.
Mm-hmm. Sorry, I had to adjust myself a little bit here. Alright.
2011, that's when I played the beta. Good, good, good. Prompt
So
development.
yes, everyone, if you have any questions, you want to throw our comments our way, please do. We will take them all. Maybe we can go for a little bit longer here before we call it a day.
Yes, submit your questions. Should we do another round then?
Yeah, let's get going.
While it's loading in, I'm going to take a look at what was in the last No Man's Sky update.
This challenge won't be as easy as the first one. I'd like to see you get out of this one alive.
Oh, God.
Oh, we're in. Okay, sorry, I'm...
I just wanted to stay back and watch you get mobbed, honestly.
I was trying...
Take it easy. We need to not destroy food.
Die food!
Thor's a vegan! Ah!
The thing is, I don't mind food being destructible, like bonus items being destructible, in a game where they don't tell you every time you do it. Because, like, if you're gonna harass me about it, just make it undestroyable, you know?
Right. Oh, shit.
We're not good at this.
No.
Okay, I've got a No Man's Sky update history. The most recent update was on August 6th. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong end of the thing. March 27th. And it added... Okay, that's just a technical update.
Yep, nah, British is here. He is here every week. This is the live show that we do together. My name is Jonathan Cadotte. His name is Owen Adams, also known as British Gamer. This is our show. Welcome. You have a question? Feel free to tell us.
Just looking at what the big update to No Man's Sky was.
Yep, Owen is currently entranced with reading update news for a game that has already been fallen out of public consciousness, and we're going to stare at a gaming over screen until he is done.
Okay, it was called the Pathfinder update. This is the last big update. And it was in March, so I guess I'm willing to bet this is the last update. And it contains...
You know what the worst part about No Man's Sky was, actually?
What?
And I'm not generally one to use this as a qualifier for things, because you're talking to a person who had no problems with the Mass Effect 3 ending, but the ending to No Man's Sky is by far the most insulting and frustrating thing known to man.
Right, like I don't know about you, but I looked up the ending.
Oh, I actually did go back and do it. But I did also look it up. I just got bored one day and decided, screw it, let's do it. Turns out it wasn't that far away.
Can you imagine trying to play to that, not knowing what it was though, and looking forward to it and getting that?
So, for those who might not know, this is going to be a spoiler. I don't care. The ending to No Man's Sky, once you reach the center of the universe, you know, the big goal, you know, that these mysterious forces have been ushering you along on this quest of yours to get there, and finally you reach your destination, and you're basically given the ghosts and goblins ending, where it's like, oh, you enjoyed this game? Do it again! Like,
right, and there's no ending. Like, can you imagine being sat around, like, in the development studio and being like, alright, how should we end this baby? We got our world's largest universe we were pretty proud of. Well, how about like, someone clearly was, like, smoking weed and being like, you know, the universe is all circular, man. That'll make for
end, man.
That'll make for a satisfying video game ending. And I think Jesus was just like a really good guy, you know? And it is the worst ending.
Yeah.
It's like
basically what happens is you get to the center and basically you do a reverse pan out of the universe, and then you start over again. Your ship's destroyed, you have to start all over again.
Wouldn't it be great if you finish it like 5 times, you get a really great ending?
No, because I also looked it up. People trying to beat it over and over and over again. No, it's the same thing. Every single time.
Well, that was a short level. It's like, I mean... I don't mind them doing it every now and then. Like, in Breath of the Wild, there were these things called Koroks, right, that you would find. And they would have these little seeds for you, and every time you would collect enough seeds, basically, this big Korok had lost them, and he wanted to fill his maracas, not his maracas, his shakers. You know what I mean? And so you had to bring him his seeds back. And every time you brought him enough seeds, he would let you upgrade your inventory slots. So they were kind of useful, right? But they were also little puzzles to try and find them all. Because, you know, Breath of the Wild's got this really big open world. Anything that looked like... Anytime you'd see a rock and you'd be like, huh, that rock would fit in that other rock. If you moved it, it would usually turn out to be like a Korok seed. Just little puzzles that weren't called out to you. You would just find them in the world.
Right.
But this guy would say, and if you find all, like, I think it was like 900... If you find them, I'll come back to me and I'll give you something, right? Actually, he doesn't say that. I'm sorry, but you find out how many there are, right? And then you take them all to them because he wants them all finding. And he's like, okay, I guess I better give you something. And it's a gold turd.
Like literally?
Yeah, it doesn't just look like it. It's a gold turd, and I think like the item description is something like it doesn't really smell very nice,
Oh my god.
and it's a gag. Like you are
Right.
not supposed to find all those collectibles. That's not supposed to be something you put out. So the result is they give you a piece of shit. It doesn't mean anything. But that's the No Man's Sky ending to the main game.
Right. That's not like a little fun little Easter thing, Easter egg. It's just the end.
Well, I would like it if on Easter children were given gold turds. It's your fun little Easter thing.
Let's see here. I'm trying to think of stuff to talk about. I saw a couple trailers that
Oh yeah?
for movies that are coming out that look pretty good.
Oh yeah? I'm really looking forward to seeing that new Avengers trailer when they let the rest of the world see it.
Yeah, be nice. I have purposely avoided seeing like the bootleg version of it, or someone
Yeah.
like in the audience, with their phone out. But there's a movie coming out directed by George Clooney, of all people, but the script is actually written by the Coen brothers. So I am actually very excited about that, because the Coen brothers are some of my favorite directors and movie makers in the business.
Is he gonna spend the whole movie trying to sell a Nescafe Dolce Gusto machine? Does he endorse those over there? I don't know. He's in Nescafe. He's in Nescafe adverts in this country.
Oh yeah, same here. Where he hops in all the other movies as a.
Yeah. Oh, hold on.
We got a crack in the wall. Get out of there!
And hello to Sam Fallman.
No,
You're
it's
not...
called Suburbicon.
Good. Because that sounds like a Transformers sequel about the robot that lives in the suburbs and takes his children to a good school.
What it actually looks like is it's set in like 1950s, America suburbs, during the big suburb boom, the white flight, as they call it. And but it looks like, a real peaceful neighborhood where everyone's like really up on, appearances. But Matt Damon, who stars in it, apparently his wife was murdered by the mafia, and so he has to kind of like, he spends the whole movie fighting against the mafia in the suburbs, and it looks really kind of funny, and kind of gruesome too.
Hogan's like,
in the
I
way
am
that-
legend. He's just barricading his house down. The book, not the movie. That'd be terrible.
Right.
Like I Am Legend the movie. So meaningless.
But I think that looks really good. If you get a chance to check out that trailer, I would. I have.
Have you seen the new Justice League trailer is little heavier on the Wonder Woman than they have been in the past? Now
Oh,
partly
yeah.
that's just been partly I think it'll just because we've seen the Wonder Woman movie now, so they can reveal the character a bit more, but they know that we like the Wonder... The problem is, though, they think we like Wonder Woman.
We like
and
the Wonder Womans.
I like Wonder Woman, but they're gonna think that the issue is that we like Wonder Woman the character, not Wonder Woman the film.
Right. And I did notice, though, that they did basically recreate shot for shot that move that she pulls off in the movie where she slides across the floor and kicks someone's legs out from underneath them and then stands up when her hair whips around.
It's just gonna
Like-
be the Wonder Woman movie, is that it's just gonna be Wonder Woman 2.
God damn it! That was like the first thing you did. You had no other anything you could have done. You're just like, nope, just destroying it. I don't know if I want to open this door anymore for you. Oh, watch it!
I don't know how that works.
A key and a door. That's how that works, Owen.
No, I mean like
Crazy.
running over those spikes. They were just catching up with me.
Well. Okay, now what?
Well, it's all on you, buddy. I'm just waiting to come to get back in the game.
Don't know if I want to anymore. Ooh.
We'll have to finish up with this level anyway. We've been doing the podcast for nearly an hour and 50 minutes here. We haven't got any more questions, so I think once we get to the end of this level, or until we next die, I suppose we'll finish up. I'll be back
Yeah.
into the game in a moment. When John gets his act together. Jesus, John.
I'm working on it.
Good. I'm really curious as to how that Justice League movie's going to turn out.
Me too.
Because I'm not confident. Like, I liked Wonder Woman a lot. I don't think it's going to be Wonder Woman.
No. I think it's gonna be all right.
Did you hear that the Flash movie is going to be Flashpoint as well?
Yeah.
You don't make Flashpoint as the first Flash movie.
No.
It's
Oh,
like
that
making Dark Knight Rises the
achievement.
first Batman movie. Just-
Right.
sorry, Dark Knight Returns.
Which is
like-
essentially what they tried to do.
Yeah. Yeah. They just don't have a concept of earning things with characters anymore.
Yeah, you can have that gold. I don't know. I guess maybe I could. Don't you? Oh, God damn it, Owen!
Sorry. I wasn't thinking. Just start announcing to you when you're
I have
low on
full
health.
I'm gonna go eat this. And here I am, just as close to death as possible. Yeah, at least we got a coin.
So if you were doing a Flash movie, what classic comic plot would you adapt for your first Flash movie?
Oh shit! What the hell killed me? Well, you know, and that's the thing. Like, Flash doesn't have a ton of like.
Yeah, I think that's why
Classic
they've done it. Flashpoint's
tales,
like the
you
only
know?
one, right? That's like, yeah, this is a
Right.
Flash story.
Do we have to kill these ghosts?
Maybe?
Okay.
No, they just had to fly away.
You are about to die.
We just had to wait for them to leave.
Wait, stop.
Behold, my stomach rumbles.
Oh, that's nice.
I'm glad you could hear that as well. What killed you? What killed me, sorry? Was it the ghost? Because I was so low on health.
Yeah,
Great.
it was.
Good.
Oh God. Come at me! Back, demons! Come, bring it on! That's right, I can funnel you.
Yeah, that requires staying in the funnel.
Just make the funnel longer. There, I got a coin. Feel free to hit these guys whenever you want to, Owen. Yeah, I still hold hope for Justice League. I don't think it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be as good as Wonder Woman, by any means. Because I think Wonder Woman really succeeded because it had a fresh eye to the genre. And for all intents and purposes, even though Snyder didn't finish Justice League, he did most of the work. And then they had Joss Whedon take over. So it's still going to be a movie.
Right, and while I don't dislike it, Age of Ultron is closer to the problems that we have with DC movies than it is the strengths we have with Marvel movies.
Right.
I think because it was his second movie. It's like the thing I keep thinking about Zack Snyder, though, is they keep giving him superhero movies, despite the fact that he clearly doesn't like the traditional model of superheroes at all.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like, he does not like Superman as a noble, non-controversial, nice guy, you know?
Right.
And he doesn't like Batman as a... Like, no filmmaker has ever done Batman as the detective, right? We've yet to get a movie where Batman is a detective. The closest we ever get is that scene in... Is it, The Dark Knight when he's doing the gun ballistics?
Yes.
And maybe
yeah,
like
we did it.
Maybe like Batman 89 when he but you don't see how he does it. But when he works out that the Joker's combining chemicals, they just don't do Batman as a detective. So like Zack Snyder's not interested in that. And the Suicide Squad people were like, you know, every movie just has this weird thing where like, oh, it's the Man of Steel is the Superman movie where Superman doesn't really save people. Batman vs Superman is the superhero movie where Batman and Superman just fight all the time, and Batman wants to kill Superman. And then Suicide Squad's the movie
hello, Sam
where...
Foreman. You are quite late. Sorry.
And then Suicide Squad's the movie where Batman uses a 10-year-old girl as a human shield. And... Do you know what I mean? Like...
Right. I am the knight. Don't hurt me.
Right. It's a very weird one.
Let's see here. So, what's coming up here that we can kind of give our wonderful viewers an idea of what we'll be talking about soon? Defenders for sure. That won't be next episode, but by the episode after that,
right?
That
So
will have been released.
In 2 weeks, I'll be ready to talk about Iron Fist.
Yeah.
But I couldn't say much about it. It was all going past so fast. And fast forward.
There's a lot of people talking. I don't know what they said. Which won't be all that far off if you had watched it in regular motion either. When does the Defenders drop?
I think it is in about 2 weeks. It's this month, definitely. We got bit further away. We got Destiny 2 in a month.
Mm-hmm.
We got. Are you up with Game of Thrones yet? You caught up with that?
I am not caught up at all. I'm seasons behind, but I have been reading episode synopsis just so I don't have to. I'd rather just spoil it myself by reading the synopsis than having someone at work or something like, dude, oh my god, Daenerys, what she did, you know.
Like that's the strategy it takes everything, you know? Like, You're just reading the paper.
It is the scorched earth policy, really.
Just reading the paper, and it says, it says here that most outdoor cats get killed by traffic at some point in their lives. All right, Ronald, we're going to the car. I'd rather you die by my hand.
Just stand still. We're going to condition you to take a hit from a car.
You're gonna doomsday it? Like, kill him once, he didn't survive.
August 18th. So yeah, so it won't be this next episode, but the one afterwards. Defenders will have dropped.
I kind of hope it's terrible. It's kind of a weird
Shut your
thing to think.
goddamn mouth.
But after all this waiting, you know there's like that kind of self-destructive little voice that creeps up and you're like, oh, I'll be sad if it's not good because I want to watch it. But wouldn't it be amazing after all this hype if it was just junk? Just from start to finish?
I hope not. I really hope not. Because, like, even with the low point being Iron Fist, this has been an extraordinary run of serialized entertainment.
And I bet if it wasn't the fourth one, if Iron Fist had come out first, I bet people would have been like, that's pretty good.
Oh, yeah. I think, well, because I think the issue with Iron Fist is that there was a long time when it was in limbo. Because they announced, like, oh, yeah, we're gonna do Daredevil, Jessica Jones, and Luke Cage for sure. And we might do Iron Fist. And then when it was after Jessica Jones also did very well, that they're like, yeah, no, we're doing Iron Fist. We're doing Iron Fist. And they kind of real quick did that, but they're also like, oh, yeah, we're also going to do a second season of Daredevil first, too. And then it kind of, like, put all these, like, irons into the fire, like, real quick. And one of them had to...
I am not remotely excited by the prospect of a Punisher series that they're making.
Me neither, mostly because I dislike the Punisher as a character. But of all their incarnations of that character, I did think John Barenthal's was the best so far.
Right. But that's because he was pretty much the villain in that show for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the right place for him. A villain that you could have some sympathy with. Rather than a hero. Even though he saved the day.
Blas says, no fisting, please. I make no promises, sir. I will fist when I want to, where I want to, with who I want to. Okay? I'm a free man.
There's one for the intro reel.
Trump may be slowly taking away the things I hold dear in my life. He will not take away fisting. Okay?
Yeah, it's ironic because I hear that Iron Fist is Trump's favorite Marvel.
It would be.
Cinematic.
It's the greatest Marvel thing, and I wrote it. I directed it.
People say
when they
the
wanted
Defenders
to know
is
what
going to
to
be
do
better.
with Kunlun,
That's
they came
fake
to
news.
me.
We need to get a decent TV series. We need to get a decent movie, Netflix Marvel crossover, though, right? We need to get one character from the movies into the show before they go, right?
No, I don't think you do.
Oh,
I really
come
don't.
on. Can it really go without the Tony Stark that made us Spider-Man Homecoming so much better? Was that your response?
I couldn't even think of a character. I couldn't even think of a character that's in the current Marvel Cinematic Universe that would be a good fit. They're just such a different tone. Like, could you imagine
that jerk?
Can you imagine if, like,
that jerk Martin Freeman plays in Civil War,
where the Kingpin just crushes that dude's head with the door, and then fucking Vision just pops up. You know,
I would love that. Or if, like, it could be that scene in Jessica Jones when they're on the pier, and and he's got the purple man's got the control of everybody and the gun against everyone's head, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And Tony Stark just wanders through going, do, yeah, damn, so suave and handsome, loop-a-doop-a-doo.
I'm rich, I'm a rich guy, richy.
He was like, are you gonna help? Nope, la 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 la. Oh, I love that.
Or you know what? I actually can. I can think of one character that could possibly do it, and it would be Hawkeye,
Yeah.
right? Because like of all the characters of the Avengers who might stumble into a bar or something where these guys are hanging out, it would be him. You know. I can see it too. Like he would walk in, see them all sitting around at a table talking, and go, "Nope, already part of the team," and just walk out. You know,
Right.
something like that.
I still maintain the ending to whatever the threat of the Defenders is needs to be the plan fails and Iron Man just comes in and he's like, "Yeah, bitches,
Avengers!
Stark Industries, woo!"
It just completely changes the tone. It's just like, yeah, we're all gonna have witty quips right now. Woo!
What's funny is like the Kingpin was a pretty low stakes villain. Fair enough. The David Tennant's character. Why have I forgotten what he's called? I remember the purple metal. Kilgrave. He was a pretty scary villain, but pretty like you feel like Scarlet Witch could take him, probably, right? Maybe or Vision, you know.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
But the ultimate goal, the ultimate opponent they're coming up against, is actually bigger stakes than anything the Avengers have faced.
Right. Yeah. The immortal hand. You know.
They want to bring about the apocalypse.
Yeah. Like, you know, they have something called the Black Sky. It's like it's a fucking weapon. It's like, that doesn't sound good. Doesn't sound like a happy time for anyone.
Right. And yet, that needs to... I want that to come up in the Avengers, you know? I want New York to be almost destroyed. I have been watching... If you've ever seen... You know the Nostalgia Critic does reviews on YouTube? Mm-hmm. They just did a... They do a series now called First Viewing, which is where they actually show an edited version of them watching the films for the first time. And they were doing Suicide Squad, and as soon as the bit where... oh, what's her name? The witch. As soon as she turns evil and opens that big fucking thing in the city, one of them says, "Oh, it's another fucking sky portal."
Here we go again.
Because there's always a sky portal now. In everything.
Always. It should just be in like the weather forecast. And on Tuesday we have a 30% chance of torrential downpours, and on Wednesday surely there'll be a sky portal.
Right. To what dimension or galaxy we don't know, but it shall become easier to predict as we get closer to the day.
Yes. So in due time, please hug your loved ones and wish them goodbye for the worst.
An 86% of precipitation of Chitauri, followed by Skrull and Kree.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just this personal meteorologist's opinion, but I believe we should all repent. Repent, for the end is nigh. You know what? I don't think I'd be so upset if it was at the very end of Defenders. You know, they've won, they've saved the day, and they're all just kind of sitting there, just like, oh my god. And then the Avengers show up, and they're like, "The fuck you guys been? Get our asses kicked down here, man!" Like, yeah, she's super strong, and he can't be killed. I'm a blind guy. Like, like this shit sucks. Like,
I just like the idea that, you know, Daredevil's there fighting, you know, a sky portal. Essentially the equivalent of Dormammu. And Iron Man and Doctor Strange are all there like, "You want some help?" And he's like, "No. Hell's Kitchen is my neighborhood."
all right, man.
There you go. Personally, I think this is kind of a dump. But...
You know, like, Hell's Kitchen is just like a 2-block radius sort of thing. Just
mine. All mine.
Mine. Mine.
Right, and you're like, why did it take you guys so long to form a team when you appear to seem like you live next door to you, and you live like 3 streets down from you, and that's like literally, Matt Murdock could have heard Pop getting shot.
Well, Harlem's not that close.
Yeah, but he's got Daredevil super hearing, Jonathan.
Oh, yeah, because that's going to be the only gunshot in New York City that day. We do have one final question here, and it's actually kind of a good one. from Blas. He says, or asks, excuse me, if you would have 2 weeks holiday time, vacation time here, quite good amount of money, $2,000 to spend and live, what trip to the U.S. would you make?
What trip to the U.S.? It has to be within the U.S.
Yes.
And I can do whatever I like on this trip, legally permitting.
Yeah, $2,000.
Oh,
Yeah,
I've got
$2,000
$2,000,
to spend. We're not gonna include that in airfare because that'll be like all the money.
I don't think I could afford to remodel Mount Rushmore with that.
Yeah, I don't think Ryanair flies to the U.S.
Ryanair. They probably charge you for the States, but charge a little bit extra for the United.
We can get you just on the outskirts. Puerto Rico?
Yeah. What would I do? Well, I'd love to go to New York. New York is the world's most famous city, I suppose.
Yeah. New York.
I'd love to see that. I'd probably go there, take in a Broadway show, and that's my $2,000.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's your $2,000.
Rent an apartment and park a car.
So let's hope that apartment has hourly rates because that's gonna go real quick. Okay, let's up it. Let's say you have $5,000. You have $5,000 to spend because.
Well, I'd say what I would do.
Blas quite knows how expensive things can be here in the United
I'd say
States.
what I would do that I would always love to. This is such a greedy guy thing to do, but I would actually just love to go to New York and walk around ordering things from food stands that we don't have here. You know what I mean? Like, we don't have
fair.
hot dog stands just on the side of the street in Britain, but I've been led to believe they are on every street corner in New York, for they are in the stock footage we see in films.
And my favorite thing is that there's always a hot dog stand, and there's never anyone else there. Just like the city has like 20 million people on one tiny island, and no one else is ever eating at a hot dog stand except for the main characters of movies.
Right, and what is more remarkable to me is they can always get ketchup and mustard out of those little bottles. They don't have to pick the gunk off first. They're not all gunked up. Right, like, how many hot dogs can you fit in one of those little carts? Because how is this a viable business? Everybody loves hot dogs.
Right.
Would they just sell out after like 5 minutes?
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't.
Where are they getting
imagine
these
they have probably like a
sausages?
stock.
Every fifth customer, do they lop off a finger? And be like, hey, look over there.
Here's your hot dog. Ah! I know that hot dog like the back of my hand.
Where am I?
It was at one point the back of my hand.
I know the back of my hand like the back of my hand. And this is the back of my hand.
Mine, particularly.
But I'd have, like, I don't know, I'd go to, like, I'd get, like, some weird New York Jewish deli stuff I've heard so much about, you know what I mean? Like, bagels and... Yeah, I'd love to do that. I'd love to get all the weird...
Bagels.
Well, no, you can get bagels here, but you know what I mean? Like
Right.
pastrami on rye. I don't even know what it is, but I want a pastrami on rye. What the hell is
Delicious. I've
rye?
had
We
those.
don't have a bread here that we just call rye. What is it? I need to know, John.
It's bread made out of rye.
Oh my god.
What
Mind
the fuck do you
blown.
think it is?
I don't know what rye is. I'm sorry.
It's a more of a... The flavor's a little bit more intense than your typical bread. It's almost has almost a bitter taste to it.
I'm just looking it up.
I hope the wiki says bread made out of rye. So, as for me, if I was going to make this trip, I would just pocket the money because I'm already here. There is a kind of a trip
I would
I've
make
always
a
wanted
trip
to
to
take.
my house. And with widescreen TV. Isn't it funny
I'll
how
take a
like
trip to the gas station to fill up that takes me to the department store where I buy a 70-inch television.
isn't it funny that like every TV you've been able to buy for the last 25 years has been a widescreen TV, but you still feel obliged to say it when you're referring to TVs. You're like, a widescreen, flat screen TV. Woo,
Yeah.
ooh la la.
LCD. Look. The blacks are so vivid. Just no, there's a trip I've always kind of wanted to take, and I always thought, like, honestly, if I'd won the lottery, I would do it. But I think I could probably get away with it for $5,000. I always wanted to go on the fabled Great American Road Trip. 2 weeks time, I could probably easily drive to the West Coast, go through places like Colorado and Utah, where they have like the really amazing rock formations and the mountains, and it's really beautiful out there, and you can still legitimately navigate through back roads.
Right, and often when you look out of the windows, it looks like you're playing Red Dead Redemption.
Right.
Drunk
Like,
Irishmen
honestly,
everywhere. Cruel Irish stereotypes on every corner.
It's like, well, it's my 4th day into my trip, and this is the 3rd lone homesteader I saw just gunned down by a bunch of U.S. Marshals. And there goes his wife and child out the back door. Well done. But no, I always kind of want to do that because, honestly, for a majority of the country, the advent of the expressways and these kind of like super highways killed off a lot of small towns, like roadside attractions, that sort of thing. And
3 days and 3 punctured tires later into your trip, you're like, fucking back roads.
I'm going to the expressway.
Freeway all the way to Vegas, baby.
Yeah, Blah says, I was planning to go for a month on a road trip across the USA, but supposedly renting a car is very expensive. It is. It is very expensive to rent a car for that long. A couple days, not too bad. You go over a week, and you are paying.
That's if they ever catch you.
But yeah, no, I always wanted to go on that trip, And it's funny because my version of it, if I win the lottery, is I would buy myself a classic car, like a classic, like 1969 Mustang, or one of those just traditionally American muscle cars that you always see like that real cool guy driving. But I've been so inundated with images from that era, of the muscle car and how American steel and that sort of thing, that in my head it would just be awesome, to go to one corner of the country, get myself a classic car, and drive to the other opposite corner, weaving my way through every state as I went. No cell phone, no tablet, no laptop, just me, some notebooks, and a map. That sounds so endearing in my head. I know in practice I'll probably get like a day or two into it, like, I'm going to pick up a cell phone. But in my head, like that romance of the open road is still there, and I kind of I want to see for myself if it's a thing.
Yeah, sounds pretty sweet. I would love to do that, but it's so weird to kind of travel to somewhere to do a trip there. Do you know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
But yeah,
like
it would be cool.
I in my head, I thought it would be awesome if I won the lottery to actually have you flown over here and we go on that trip together and do a show from every state. That
would be crazy.
Yeah.
One day, when I've got all that sweet YouTube money, I can afford to take a 6-month holiday
Right.
from my job.
But yeah, that's the trip I'd want to do. I'd want to do the Great American Road Trip.
That would be amazing. I'll join you on that when we're rich.
Yeah. So yeah, help us get rich, guys. Like and subscribe this video. Please share it with your friends and help our channel grow. We are this close to breaking the 100 mark on our subscriber list.
It'll be just like playing this game, though. Every stop, I'll be like, John, I'm bored. America's too hot. I'm lonely.
And just overhead, some narrator, the British twit is hungry.
Oh, like this American food. What's rye again?
The American is about to kill the Brit badly.
I left my suntan lotion in Utah.
That's it. And then I have to do another road trip to scatter your body parts across the country so I can't be tracked down too easily.
For the next 6 months, you're doing a bad impersonation of me on my channel so no one knows I've gone. Hello.
Like, yeah, guys, so I just caught this new movie and I'm a big fan of that. Ooh, the biggest fan in the world! 60 feet tall!
Oh, you sound like Mrs. Doubtfire when you do that.
Hello! Well, I thought I was talking to Miss Doubtfire the whole time. We've been doing this. Are you telling me you're not?
Mrs. Doubtfire, the film where Robin Williams tries to be a little old English lady and turns out Scottish. Like, the most Scottish English accent I've ever heard.
Yeah, I'd be like, hey guys, welcome to Those Aren't Biscuits. We are broadcasting to you live from Maine, and with me as always, Owen Adams. You know, it would be a great Avengers movie as we had David Hasselhoff's Nick Fury and the
Live. It's Those Aren't Ashes, cremated in a dingy furnace. In a backlot that I made out of a barrel and a can of gasoline.
It's like, we've changed the name of the episode that it's now, That's Not Owen's Corpse Ditched Behind a Dirty Denny's Bathroom. Just unceremoniously displayed for the carrion and the bugs to devour. Just... It's a long title, I know, guys, but I think it works.
I'd like that. You know, I want to die how I lived. Taken up space and forgotten.
Well, you know. Wherever that flapjack lands, there shall he be discarded.
Didn't even get an arrow. Or a hash brown.
No. I'm just gonna fling a pancake.
I can live with that.
Alright, man, you want to see us out here?
Yes, indeed. You have been watching and listening to Those Aren't Biscuits, where we were playing a little bit of Gauntlet and talking. This is a weekly talk show that goes live every Monday. Hit those like and subscribe buttons, because we are, in fact, going to be back next Monday, and we're going to be back a little bit sooner. We're working on a... Well, not a little bit sooner. We're going to be doing something a little bit sooner that you won't see for a few weeks. By the way, we have a new show coming on the channel, which
Yes.
I'm gonna wait to reveal a little bit more about that till we know. We don't have a title yet, so...
Yes, we got something in the works, and we're excited about it.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Those aren't biscuits.
Well done, sir. It's coming up soon. You are gonna really enjoy it. I've been toying with ideas for the show. I thought Those Aren't Donuts might be a good one. I don't know. But we'll see. We'll see. In the meantime, if you want to hear some more from us, where can they find you, John?
They can find me, well, on this channel. I have been doing Let's Plays on this channel. I am currently in the middle of a... Well, if you've been listening to this episode, you know that I am done with the game, but the episodes for Pyre, the Let's Play I've been doing of Pyre, are still on the way. I believe we have 1 week left of them. So there'll be 3 more episodes that you guys can watch and enjoy, and hopefully like, leave comments, share with your friends. But other than that, they can find me on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @JohnCPerson. That's Jon, the letter C, person. Or they can find me on my blog, which is johncperson, same spelling, .wordpress.com. And what about you, man?
You can get to me by going to my YouTube channel at youtube.com/Owen Adams. That's pretty much everything these days. And that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.
Have a good one.